Good afternoon to everybody. We are on Mishenichnas Adar Marbin Basimcha. Around the corner is Purim. And this Shabbat is a special Shabbat, the Shabbat Parshat Zachor, in which we are commanded to remember what Amalek did to the Jewish people. And of course, the connection is because Haman was a descendant of Amalek, and he, like his forefathers, he wanted to annihilate the Jewish people. What I wanted to do was to show the connection between the whole inyan of Yerushalayim and Amalek. And first of all, one has to notice that there's a certain pattern in history in which we see that Amalek, when they attack Am Yisrael, they always attack it as a certain juncture. It's always at a certain point in the Jewish people's history. And it's quite easy to see and to discern the pattern that it's always when the Jewish people are about to return to Eretz Yisrael. The first time is that when Am Yisrael already has left Egypt, they're on the way now to travel to Eretz Yisrael, and on their journey towards Eretz Yisrael, that's the time that Amalek first attacks Am Yisrael. If we go to the period of Haman, we're speaking about the time that the Jewish people were in the Galut of Bavel, and afterwards, in the Galut of Persia. And already the Persians had given the Jewish people the right and to go back to Eretz Yisrael. Not only the right, but Cyrus and other kings, also Achashverosh, they gave the Jewish people the right and assistance to go and to rebuild the Beit HaMikdash, until Haman and his sons and his other cohorts, they wrote, as it's written in the book of Ezra, they wrote a letter of sitna, of animosity, urging Achashverosh to freeze the building of the temple, and that in fact what happened, until Haman was defeated and Achashverosh's son took over, and then permission was granted to unfreeze and to resume the building of the Beit HaMikdash. So you see that Amalek, in that case of history of Haman, when does he appear? He appears as the Jewish people are preparing after 70 years of Galut to come back to Eretz Yisrael and to build the Beit HaMikdash. That's when Amalek appears and tries to frustrate the Jewish people's plans. Jewish people, of course, at the behest of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And if we take the modern day, right, as the Jewish people, after years and years of not being in our land, so as the Jewish people came back to Eretz Yisrael from the 1800s, early 1900s, etc., so then the Nazi Amalek, what it did was the forces of Satan of Amalek tried to frustrate the Jewish people's coming to Eretz Yisrael. The intent was to wipe out the whole of Am Yisrael. So we see already that there's a pattern. The pattern is that that Amalek always appears before the Jewish people are coming to Eretz Yisrael. And the reason is actually very simple and straightforward. You see, Amalek is the believes in random force, that there's no God in the world, that everything is a matter of chance. Now, they don't even mind, Amalek doesn't even mind if there's some sort of organized religion, as long as the religion is just sort of like a bunch of symbols, of rituals. But what Amalek really detests and what he fights tooth and nail is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is in the world, connected to this world. And there's nothing that really manifests this idea that the Jewish people coming to Eretz Yisrael, that we're not just a religion, but a religion which implements our religion, our Torah, in life. In other words, not only in our private lives, but in our national home. In other words, that's the Jewish people performing the Torah in Eretz Yisrael with the Beit HaMikdash, that shows the world that Be'emet religion's not just something that can't, so to speak, can't be part of the normal living. Here we have a nation with all its different frameworks, and in these frameworks, these national frameworks, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has given a Torah in which we can live life in all its, as I say, all its frameworks, all its various circumstances, and to implement the Torah of Hashem. And so Amalek always comes at this time. And I'd love to, if you've got time, when during after this video, if you could just look at Shemot chapter 16, and from chapter 16 to 17 in Shemot, you can see, look at the psukim, and you'll see a very, very interesting thing. What I'm quoting now is Rabbi Nevenzel, who is quoting from the Rosh Hashiva of Mir. I had the mamash, the good schut, even if it was only for 6 months, to listen to him, although my Yiddish wasn't so good. Agon Agadol, Rav Nachum Patrovich, Zeichet Tzadik Livracha. So basically, I'm going to take a shortcut. You can look at the psukim, but in the Yotzrot, we know that in the davening, there are certain piyutim, certain extra poems and passages which, for special occasions, are added on to our davening. Now our minhag is that we add these passages and these piyutim only on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, but there are other kihilot that add these passages on the repetition of the Amidah and part of the Kriyat Shema on special Shabbatot as well as Yom Tovim. And the special Shabbatot are the 4 Shabbatot. One of them is in Parshat Zachor. And those are printed over here in this Siddur, I think also at the Art Scroll. They are what is called the Yotzrot. And in the Yotzrot, it comes out, Rav Nachum explains it's in the Yotzer, which, if you've got a Siddur, which got the Yotzrot, in a passage which starts off, the paragraph which starts off as follows. It says, sorry, just let me get the pasuk. It says over here, Atz Kotzetz. In that piyut, it comes out that the battle of Amalek took place on a Friday, Erev Shabbat, on Chav Chet Iyar. What of course does it tell us? What has happened on Chav Chet Iyar? We know Chav Chet Iyar was a Yotzat Shmuel, and Chav Chet Iyar is also the liberation of Yerushalayim. Yes, Amalek always comes to fight at a time in which Yerushalayim, even in the future, is going to be liberated, because Yerushalayim and all the halachot associated with Yerushalayim, all are coming back to the Beit HaMikdash and to Eretz Yisrael. And the Beit HaMikdash, that's a living proof that there is Hashem in the world. We, the Jewish people, only in our land, implementing the Torah in its fullest sense on a national scale with the Beit HaMikdash, that is the ultimate wiping away of Amalek. Shabbat Shalom and Purim Sameach to everybody.